Alrighty. I think we gotta start with Penguin, I think. Or should we save them for second to last? Because we're doing the US last.
We could start with Penguin and end with the US. I think that's pretty good.
All right, let me give a quick summary of what this team brings to the group.
Yeah.
So they won UEFA Group A by beating San Marino and Azerbaijan and all those other really tough European teams. I don't actually know who's in their group. That's just a guess.
I
Um,
have it down if you are wondering.
I'd love to know.
It was Poland, Albania, Hungary, Andorra, and San Marino.
Jesus Christ. Somebody tell save that clip for when somebody comes up and says US has nobody to play against when they qualify. God, are we kidding? San Marino's the size of Rhode Island, man. Ugh. Anyways, it's really I'm shocked they were able to get through that group into the World Cup. They're in their 16th finals appearance, looking to win it for the second time ever. Their last time they won it was in 1966. Honestly, outside of their goalkeeper, this is a waste of a national team. They might as well be Azerbaijan.
Oh, I
They
didn't know you
are
were that big of an Aaron Ramsdale fan.
stop it. They are led by the best goalkeeper in the world. They think they're tough because their league has no salary cap and they can buy whoever they want, but their national team doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Oh God,
Um,
you're gonna get so much TikTok hate thrown at you.
it's honestly going to be wild because they have the best goalkeeper in the world. They're not going to concede a single goal all group, and they're still going to come in last. I don't know how. They're going to lose. They're going to have 0 points, conceding 0 goals.
That's impressive.
Um, oh God, where was I? In my notes. It's going to be 1776 part two. Come the day after Thanksgiving. They're not ready to hold this L. And we really should talk about the fact how they had 0 wins in their Nations League group and made them wish that they were in MLS because they wouldn't have gotten relegated. That's right. We're playing against a team that got relegated. I'm not even worried.
I want to just take this whole opening clip and like this is just gonna be the whole opening clip of the podcast.
USA by a billion is basically what I'm trying to say, even though they're ranked fifth in the world by Garrett Southgate, whatever. I don't care who their coach is. USA to the moon. Penguin, get wrecked.
That's it. That's the whole preview, right?
I was gonna bring up a comment on royalty, but figured probably not, considering our leadership isn't top standard anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, all right, that's my little route for now. Until we get to the key players, of course, I've got great notes on them.
Oh boy. Can't
Why
wait
don't you
for the
talk to me about
Jordan
their last
Pickford
5 games?
spotlight.
Why don't we talk about their last 5 games?
Sure. So last 5 games has been Nations League. So I'm sure you can imagine the run of form has not been great. So this time I've actually put them in the correct order. So starting with the game 5 games ago for them, 1-1 draw against Germany, followed by a 0-0 draw against Italy, a 4-0 loss against Hungary, a 1-0 loss against Italy, and finally their most recent was a 3-3 draw against Germany.
Um,
I added the
I'm
club rankings in there. I don't know if it really matters, but
just about to ask that. Yep, go ahead.
Germany's at 11, Italy at 6, Hungary at 36.
Man, you know the reason why they lost against Hungary that badly, 5-0 on aggregate.
Let me guess. You're gonna say it's because Jordan Pickford wasn't in goal.
Actually, he wasn't in goal for the 4-0 game. Funny enough. Um, no, it's Daniel Gazdag, MLS MVP candidate, and um, Slobosh Shone, MLS former
Were they both
MLS.
playing in that game?
I'm almost certain one of them was. I'll double check really quick.
That's actually pretty interesting. I forgot that Sean was Hungarian, to be honest with you.
Gazdag came in and scored. Shone was on the bench for 4-0.
Gazda came in and scored. Oh my
Gazdag
god, that's
scored. Yeah,
amazing.
England in the mud. I know.
MLS greater than Penguin.
Literally, like I couldn't have said it better myself. And then neither of them featured. Oh, how could I forget Daniel Shallowy as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. Did he play?
He didn't. None of them featured in the 1-0 game. The 1-0 game, excuse me. However, in the 4-0 game, as I mentioned,
Yeah, Gazda came in.
Gaza came in and scored, and Yeah, Shalloy was. I think Shalloy was hurt at that point, so I don't think he got brought in.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, MLS clear of Penguin. Penguin in the mud. Relegation confirmed.
Hex.
Yeah. Um, four goalless games in there for a team that's got this world class striker. You know who would have put more goals away? DCL if he was healthy. What? Um.
Sure.
Okay. This is gonna. We're supposed to be previewing this team. We're just taking a dump on him. Um. Obviously not in great form, right? Going back to being a little bit more serious here, not in great form. A lot of people, my head coach at Alfred is English, and I talked to him about this a little bit, and a lot of people were calling for Southgate to be fired like months before the World Cup kicked off. You think that's a little bit too far?
To say the least, I feel like it's a little. I mean, listen, I see the Greg Berhalter slander all the time, but I mean, I'm not calling for him to be sacked right now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 wins this calendar year, both of them in friendlies, and then you go to
For England,
20. Yeah, for England.
that's crazy. 2 wins
Yeah,
in the calendar year.
yeah. So they beat Switzerland, they beat Ivory Coast in a group of friendlies in March, and then 3 losses, 3 draws in Nations.
Wow.
Um, you go back to 2021, of course. Euro runners up, they lost in penalties. The really tough qualification where they beat San Marino 15-0 on aggregate. They beat Albania 7-0 on aggregate. They beat Andorra 9-0 on aggregate. I mean, I can't believe they got through this group, but they did. Um,
So much for going back to serious.
they had a much better 2021. They only lost 1 game. That was the final of the Euro Championship. But again, right? It's really what it's about is form going into the tournament. You mentioned playing Hungary, who were 36th ranked. Is that correct?
Yep.
Nobody in this group is below them, right? So they're playing tougher competition than a team that beat them 5-0. Um, I do think there's legitimate worry. However, I don't think it's that like I don't think it's not get out of the group worry, but like make it past round of 16 worry, depending on who they get matched up with.
Yeah, I think there will be a bit more trouble in dealing with this group than there realistically should be for them. But like you said, I don't see this as like a scenario where they're in threat of not getting out of the group.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just the now transfer market when they put transfer value or market value up is completely skewed to English players. I mean, Declan Rice is not worth $89 million. I'm sorry, he's just not. Um, However, this team has enough talent, enough depth to be competitive at the very least. So I'm the form is worrying, but I don't see it as being that.
Yep. I hear you.
All right, key players. There's only really one we need to talk about. His name is Jordan Pickford. He's the best
There we
goalkeeper in the world, and
go.
everybody else sucks. That's it. End Mike.
I was waiting for the DCL shout, like the Fabian Delph shout,
Bro, I wouldn't even put Fabian Delph in my.
Michael Keane.
No. I'd give Connor Cody a shout before I give Michael Keane a shout. Stop it.
Cody will probably be in the team.
He might.
Probably not.
I think he'll make the trip, but
Yeah.
we're not predicting the 26. We're predicting the 11. So
Yep.
Jordan Pickford, clear of Aaron Ramsdale, clear of David De Gea, clear of anybody else.
David De Gea. How did David De Gea get into this?
I'm just saying. Like, actually, I heard David De Gea was not on the
He didn't.
Spanish. He didn't
Yeah, he
make
didn't
it.
make
That's
the
that's where it
preliminary.
came from. I was thinking about things. I saw that in my brain. That's wild. We'll talk about that when we get to group.
That was a really random shot at David De Gea that I feel like was a bit unnecessary.
That's all right. Come get me, David. Slander the pod, David. No. So listen, Jordan Pickford, as a guy who watches him pretty much week in week out, has moments.
Are you
of
really
brilliance.
spotlighting Jordan Pickford right now?
Yes, I am.
Oh my! Why? This is
Because
such a
he's the
waste of
second best
time.
goalkeeper in the group.
Yeah, probably behind Ramsdale.
Stop. Behind Sean Johnson. Stop it.
All right, go
Listen,
ahead.
He's got the ability to be world class on his day. His tendency to make fantastic saves is really, really strong. His issue is the little stuff, right? Claiming crosses, 1v1s. You know, he's a good shot stopper, but he does have issues with the basic stuff. He's prone to make an error at some point, and that's where they'll fall. That's where they'll fall down. So Jordan Pickford is one of my key players to watch for
Are
this
you
tournament.
done spotlighting England's backup goalkeeper now?
Stop.
What do you mean stop? That's the truth.
No, he's going to start. What do you mean? He's going
What
to
do you
start.
mean?
Get
Ramsdale
out.
started, I think, every game in the Nations League for them. And yes, it didn't go well, but he got the starting spot.
Oh my gosh, he started for the Nations League and they got relegated. Let's keep going with him. Yeah. Get out of here. Your
All
next
right,
player.
so I will give you a real player here. Harry Kane. It's an obvious one. He's
Pronounce it correctly.
Harry Kane.
Harry Payne.
He I would say is probably the best player on all of England. Um he's had a pretty decent season so far this year. 7.38 rating on SofaScore, 10 goals, 1 assist, and 13 appearances. For England, he put up a 7.99 rating in World Cup qualifying with 12 goals, 2 assists. Again, take that with a grain of salt, though. It was against Andorra, San Marino. So 7.00 rating in the Nations League, 2 goals, no assists in 6 games. Not as great of a performance there, but that was kind of consistent across all of England. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the guy leading the attack. He's going to be the guy probably bagging most of the goals. He's arguably their best player and arguably the face of the team. So pretty important player, I would say.
Okay, let me fix that for you. Harry Payne, pen merchant, tap in merchant, only stands outside of 3 yards and touches the ball into the goal.
Oh.
He can't move off the ball. He gets in good spots sometimes because of his penalty merchantness. Top goal scorer in 6 different competitions, including the last World Cup. If you remember his last World Cup in 2018, 3 penalties, 2 tap-ins, and one that hit him in the head as they were trying to clear it and went over the line.
I can't
He
wait
was
for these
also
clips to go on TikTok. I really can't.
he was also English Player of the Year in 16 and 17. But yeah, he'll if Harry Kane is on the field, he'll probably take the penalties, which means he'll probably score a few goals. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Okay, cool.
Now tell me about DCL, who's not even going to be on the roster.
Now my next one's Raheem Sterling. Outside of Harry Payne, he's probably their best attacker. A little dynamic, tricky, and he has added the ability to finish. I remember watching him play for Liverpool and he couldn't tuck the ball away to save his life. He's added
Finish,
that
kind of like England.
exactly. He's added that to his game over the last couple of years. He does have a lot of trophies to his name for being a part of Oil Money FC, but being a part of that team, he's played with a lot of world class players. He's learned he has learned how to be a winner, and he's actually, as I'm sure you know, he's taken that over to Chelsea with a capital L, and has been. And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'd say he's one of their best players currently in the attacking phase. I know Mason Mount's terrible. Christian Pulisic can't get on the field. Kai Havertz does he kick a ball anymore, or is he just?
Yeah, he scored against Brighton.
Oh, that's
The
right.
one goal we got.
He scored the one goal against Brighton.
He was really strong at the start of the season, I feel like, and I think he's kind of fizzled out, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. You have anybody else you want to throw on there?
Yeah, so I'll spotlight one guy and then I'll just kind of mention the other guy I had on my list. So my last spotlight here, Jude Bellingham for Borussia Dortmund.
Ooh.
I think this is the start of his breakout year. I think this is the season that gets him a 100 million euro, pound, dollar move to the Prem. I'm sure it'll be to like someone like Liverpool or United or something. He's got a 7.43 rating so far this season in 12 appearances with 3 goals and 1 assist. Played very consistently across World Cup qualifying and the Nations League with a 7.22 rating. Honestly, that was kind of rare to see in the Nations League, considering how poor their performance was overall. Um, no goals or assists, but he's more of a midfielder, so that's not really something to harp on too much. But yeah, I think he could be, if given the chance, I think he could be an important player for them this season. Or I sorry, not this season. This tournament.
Yeah, I was highlighting people to have a laugh, obviously, but um, he's one I'm definitely going to be watching a bit closer than other players for that exact reason. To see, I've heard a lot about him. I've played with his FIFA card, right, but I haven't actually seen him play much. So I'm going to watch him a lot. Um, that right back spot at England as we move into predicted starting 11, that right back spot or right wing back, depending on how they play, is wide open right now because Trent's out of form. Reece James is hurt. So you're looking at Kieran Trippier, and that's it.
Well, Kyle Walker also, but
I saw he was also hurt.
he is also hurt, but I heard they were optimistic about him being able to play.
Okay, and I saw that they use him at center back as well. So
Yeah, he could potentially be a center back, depending on how they line up. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. Um, Starting 11 for me, I have him in a 3-4-2-1. I've got Pickford, of course, in the goal, best goalkeeper in the world. Stones, I've got Walker at center back because don't I don't get the need to make Eric Dyer or Harry Maguire play in this. I just don't get it. They've been terrible for club. They've been terrible for country. I don't get it. Let me rephrase. They've been terrible for country against teams that matter. I bet they shone playing against Andorra. I bet they were phenomenal. Um, I also put Fikayo Tomori in there. I think he's had a really good year with AC Milan from what I am reading up about. Um, he's been consistently in that group for a while now and is trying to work his way up. I think he deserves a shot. I think he's probably one of the more promising guys there. Um, of the center backs that they've tried, Connor Cody, we talked about that kind of earlier. Connor Cody could slide into that spot, but I'm going to start with Tamori there in the middle four. So the two wing players and the two holding midfielders, so to say. I've gone with Trent right now because they love a attacking fullback who can't score or who can't defend. Excuse me. Across the middle, I've got Rice and Henderson. I think Jordan Henderson comes in for a little bit of leadership and just kind of experience. The other choice there that I had was Jude Bellingham, as we mentioned, but I think Jordan starts and Jude comes in maybe second half or things like that. And then I've got Luke Shaw on the left back. That can be flipped between him or Ben Chilwell, depending on um, however they really want to play. But I think Luke Shaw has been getting most of the game time there. Starting up as we go forward, the middle two, I've got Sterling and Foden. Those two seem to be the go-to guys. Saka can slide in there, Mount can slide in there, Grealish can slide in there, and then up top, of course, Perry Payne. Really, that's the only one they got. Otherwise, you've got Grealish playing inverted because Tammy Abraham's okay. Ivan Toney's been good, but nobody's on his level. So
I feel like you're kind of sleeping on Tammy. I think Tammy's a really good backup to have. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who else they would take a striker. Could go Ivan Tony. I feel like you could never go wrong with some Jamie Vardy. Why not? Just bring him on to just mess things up, make it messy. All right.
anybody different from me?
Yeah, so I kind of went off script here a little bit.
How
Um,
dare you?
I went away from what I think that they'll do and went with more so with what I would do, I guess, if I
I'm
were
okay with
in
that.
Southgate's shoes. So I went with a 4-2-3-1 here. which is something I saw that they played at some point in time, but it seemed like more as of late they were going three at the back, which I feel like you kind of commented on this, but I don't think it's a good idea because they end up playing with like Eric Dyer, Maguire in the back three, and I think it's kind of a mess. So I've gone back four here. At left back, I've actually got Kieran Trippier right now. I saw that they
At
were
left back?
yeah, they've been playing him there from what I saw for a little bit.
Get him comments.
Listen, that's just what I saw from the lineups that were posted on Transfer Market. It looked like they were playing him at left back, and he's had such a good season with Newcastle so far this year. I feel like you find a way to get him in the team. And right back is so stacked that if you could switch him over to the left, I think that's great. The center backs, I've got Tamori and Stones. That was pretty easy for me. Any chance to not have Eric Dyer or Maguire in the back line is a good opportunity. And I didn't want to go with Kyle Walker in a two center back formation. Right back, I've got Kyle Walker as my first choice if he's healthy. If he's not, I have Trent in there as the right back. In the two deeper midfielders, I've got Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. I hear you on the Henderson shout, but I just feel like with Liverpool's form this year, I think Bellingham's got a shout to get in there. I don't know if that will actually happen. I feel like yours is the more likely scenario and that they'll go with Hendo, but I'd prefer to see Jude in there. Front three, sorry, not front three. Three attacking mids. This could definitely be like interchanged. But I've gone with Foden, Mount, and Bukayo Saka. I think Saka's had a really strong year. Foden as well. I think Mount's form has picked up as of late, and I think he'll get a spot in there. Sterling is obviously in the mix as well as and Grealish, but I just think on form those three feel like the better ones in my opinion. I think Sterling's been a bit cooler lately, and Grealish doesn't seem to get too much game time. And then up top is Harry Kane. Oh, I forgot. In goal, I have Ramsdale, not Pickford, because I have a brain.
This is why we don't ask for your opinion and why we mute you when we
Who's
can.
we? Who's we?
Everybody.
That's not true.
Me and Grace. Me and Grace.
Okay, you and Grace. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. So yeah,
Leaving,
that's how I would line up England.
leaving Sterling off is an interesting shout.
I don't think it will happen. I think it's more likely than not that he'll start. But in my opinion, I'd go with the hot hand there. And I think Foden and Saka have had stronger seasons than Sterling right now.
Okay. So obviously one last question before we move on.
Yeah.
This team, it's super deep, right? We were talking about how many different players can slide in, how many different combinations they can make. But they've been struggling. They've like we mentioned, they've got 2 wins this calendar year, been relegated from their Nations League group, got smacked around by a hungry team that was good, not great. Does that poor form carry into this World Cup group at all, do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if it did linger a little bit as Southgate kind of tries to figure out what formation is best and what's going to work the best for him. I don't think it's enough that they'll like have some shocking can't get out of the group stage event, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if they did have a bit of a slower start.
Interesting. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not super worried either. I know we talked about this a little bit. Yeah, I'm not super worried at all. I think again, I think that their opening match being against Iran is a good start for them. I think um, it allows them kind of all the teams that they could go against. Right, that's probably the best one they can start with. They're the lowest rated. I mean, again, that's not saying much. It's 20 versus 5, but it's the best one. The U.S. match, no matter what we're playing or how we're doing, it's always going to be just a little bit more meaningful. And as is the Wales match. So the Iran match is a good way to get there, shake them out. Maybe if they get a draw there, something, they can rebound from that. But um, yeah, I'm not super worried. And will their lack of MLS players and their Euro snobism cause them to crash out of the group drastically?
Of course.
Yes, good. Well done. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah.